All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Kakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples for his young brothers. And peace and blessing and salutation and hope Lake out there pushing his word in truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bashemal Shah, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful letting the believers and listeners when they came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashemal Shah. Okay. So we're about 9 minutes away, from Trump, you know, going live, to address, the events that have played out, within the last 24 hours, dealing with Venezuela, the capture of Maduro, so it's solidified that he has been captured, so it's a lot, that's gonna go into what happens next. It's gonna be interesting, and it all leads to prophecy, man. It all leads to prophecy, and this is why we're here, for the sake of prophecy. Now, I got a clip of this Trump talking on the phone this morning, and he's going into some things. So I want to play that clip. All right, and hopefully we get the notification as soon as he get ready to go live in from Mar-a-Lago in about 8 minutes. Okay, so I'm gonna play this. This devil on the phone, and he's going into some particular things about what happened. And what you can notice too, I don't know if y'all can see it or not, but these Americans are celebrating, man. This is a victory to America. The MAGA. Um, it's calling Trump a king, the greatest president ever, and Mexico is next, and that's why it makes sense that all these missiles are going to come and destroy. All right, you goddamn Americans, man, because you rally on the wickedness, okay, of your government. Okay, here it is. Last week, you was crying about boycotting Christmas. Okay, but then with the news of them taking down, you know, the government of Venezuela. All right, you people are celebrating in the celebratory spirit. Okay, you've been sad as hell since Thanksgiving until now. All right, showing you that all you devils, okay, because that's what this shows too. That all these devils, if they was in the position of the elites, they would do the same thing. Okay, and none of you Edomites right. All right, so let's play this.
So you've had quite a busy evening. Tell us about it.
It was slightly busy, I would say. It was very dark all over, especially in Venezuela. The team did an incredible job. They rehearsed and practiced like nobody's ever seen. And that could do such a maneuver. If you would have seen what happened, I mean, I watched it literally like I was watching a television show. And if you would have seen the speed, the violence, they say that, the speed, the violence, they use that term. It's it was an amazing thing. Amazing job that these people did. There's nobody
Were you able?
room, and we watched it, and we watched every aspect of it. We were surrounded by lots of people, including generals, and they knew everything that was happening, and it was very complex, extremely complex, the whole maneuver, the landings, the number of aircraft, which were a massive number, the number of every possible situation. And they just broke in, and they broke into places that were not really able to be broken into, steel door, and they got taken out in a matter of seconds. I've never seen anything like it, actually.
And you were able to watch this in real time.
Yeah, and don't forget, I've done some pretty good ones in other parts of the world. Okay, I've done some pretty good ones, but I've never seen anything like this. I was able to watch it in real time, and I watched every aspect of it, and I listened to the communication between, where we were in Florida and out in the field in Venezuela. And it was amazing to see the professionalism, the quality of leadership, the professionalism. General Raisin Gain is fantastic. Don't forget, we did another one not so long ago. It was called the knocking out of the Iranian nuclear threat, the nuclear power. And that was unbelievable what they did there. And this is something that, gee, I don't know, it's amazing. And to have a few injuries, but no death on our side is really amazing.
Mr. President, critics will say that strong action can risk escalation, but history has shown us that weakness can truly invite chaos. And this military operation clearly sends a message to our adversaries around the world, China, Iran, Russia, that we are no longer the weak administration that we had for 4 years under former President Biden, who tolerated narco-terrorism. What is next for the United States and Venezuela?
Well, we're very strong, and very importantly, if you look at drugs through the oceans.
So you knew they were gonna bring about the Biden, allowing the drugs, and it has nothing to do with no damn drugs. And then he's gonna lie about that, So the devil was just, at Mar-a-Lago, okay, watching this whole thing play out, watching, the whole operation, And I figured, them airstrikes was to, put the lights out, in Venezuela, all right, Caracas, and for the Marines to go and scrapulate this guy, you know. So this is a major move, all right, and it's going to have a ripple effect. And like as you can say, you can see on the side, these Americans are celebrating, boy. They are happy. Okay, to them, this is some type of victory. Cause here it is, the same government they've been crying about, the same government that has them homeless. They'll celebrate the capture, okay, of a foreign president that's not going to do nothing, all right, for your quality of life. Okay, it's not going to do anything for your quality of life, man. All right, you dumb, stupid Americans, man. And that's why the Lord has all these missiles coming to America, man. All right, and all you American idiots gonna be ground zero. Okay, this is a witness against them, man. They're chilling. Okay, wickedness, man. Okay, it plays a little more. That's how I think they finna.
To the seas, they're down 97%. That's the boats. It's sort of related to this, as you know. The drugs are way down, and it's getting very, very tough. It's a whole different look. We have a whole different country. We have a country now that's respected. We have a country. I built the military in my first term, and they gave a little chunk of it away, but it was a lot. But it was a little chunk relative to what we built. But they gave it to Afghanistan so stupidly. It was one of the. Compare this to Afghanistan, where we were a laughing stock all over the world. We're not a laughing stock anymore. No, we have the greatest military in the world by far. We have the greatest military equipment in the world by far. And you had to see this in real time. You had to see this, the professionalism and the bravery, everything about it. And you almost couldn't hold them back. It was like they wanted to go so badly. And most people would have said, I'll take a pass. I know that Charlie would have wanted to go because Charlie's a very brave person. But I know a lot of other people would have said, I think I'll pass on this one. Let's watch.
Yeah, so let me see if they're gonna transition to the the live speaking. Let me see. Get off there. So this is Venezuela defense chief on Maduro capture said the Venezuelan people have been victims of the most criminal military aggression by the United States. The barbarity of the invading forces has desecrated our sacred soil at Fort Tuna in the states of Miranda, all right, Arago, and Laguero, even striking civilian urban areas with missiles and rocket fire from combat helicopters. We are currently gathering information on the injured and the dead. We fully support the decree declaring a state of external emergency across the entire national territory. And as a result, the men and women of the armed forces are carrying out the instructions of President Nicolas Maduro, deploying all our capabilities. We will win. Long live, all right, the homeland. So they're making it seem like they're gonna fight, like they're gonna continue to fight. All right, and time gonna tell. Time, you know, let me
for the Venezuelan populace, but not so much the
see if I can find this some like so it says they're gonna continue on. Okay, so it look like they got the press conference coming up soon. Where you go? Details why they for this press conference get started. Yeah, man. So uh, let's go here. And I just keep an eye on the press conference. So they're gonna start shortly. President Trump holds press conference. Yeah, so it says they're gonna start shortly. All right, so let's go here. And this is what we're seeing play out. You know, um, we always get this Jeremiah 51 and 46 because this is just another move, okay, toward all out war, okay. And when you read the book of Jeremiah 51 and 46, and it says, "Unleash your heart faint, and you fear for the rumor there shall be heard in the land. A rumor shall both come 1 year, and after that another year shall come a rumor and violence in the land, ruler against ruler." You know, so the tone is being set, with these nations, as everything is escalating to all out war, because this is what Yahweh Bashim Shah wants. Okay, this is his will. This is his counsel that we're seeing play out, and we have to remember, all right, because I say Venezuela, they're not, in prophecy. Okay, but when you go into Iran, you know, in Russia, okay, and its allies, okay, over there in the eastern region, that's a part of prophecy. Okay, now this is attached. What's happening in Venezuela is attached, to the ongoing, all right, feud between the East and the West, all right. But the powder keg, okay, for World War III is going to be, all right, between the small hats and Iran. So I don't expect Russia and China, to do much. I don't expect them to do anything. As far as militarily, they might condemn it, verbally, but I don't think they're going to do anything militarily. Just speculate, because uh, now that they got Maduro, it wouldn't make sense to try to deploy military action, okay, if they've already captured Maduro, all right, because this was a decapitation operation, where you take out the head and the rest of the regime, collapse and goes into chaos. Okay. So don't expect, I wouldn't expect Russia and China to do anything, because it's not worth it on their end, especially since they got, Madero, So expect them to just strengthen up, their ties and their alliance between themselves in their region. They attempted, to get a foothold in the West. Okay. But it wasn't it just wasn't the play, you see, but that has nothing to do with how this third world war is getting ready to play out. Okay, because when you go here, let's get this in Jeremiah 50, okay, and 9. All right, this is Jeremiah 50 and 9 says, "For lo, I will cause, all right, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence shall she be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man, none shall return in vain." Okay? So this Babylon is speaking of America, and this assembly of great nations from the north country begins with Russia. And it's gonna be an assembly, okay, of those nations, man. And it's gonna be China, Iran, North Korea, okay, those nations in the east, India, okay, they're gonna come up against the whore. And mainly they're gonna come against this whore with missiles, okay, and military assets, American military assets in that region are going to be obliterated. Okay, so Venezuela, is not a major factor, but it's connected to, all right, the overall conflict. All these conflicts connect, and the chess moves that's being made on the board. Okay, and then you see the Lord exposes, you people of Babylon of America, the way that you're celebrating this, man. This has absolutely nothing to do with your quality of life. Venezuela was not a threat. All right, no few little speedboats, and then Trump said, oh, 97% of the drug trafficking has stopped, you know, 97%. You see, that's a goddamn lie, man. All right, because Venezuela not even responsible for that many drugs that come to America, man. It's like the 10th on the list. Okay, you have other countries, mainly Mexico and Cuba, that pump way more drugs. Even Canada pumps more drugs, okay, into America than than uh than Venezuela. Okay, but you dumb, stupid people in America, man. I'm just looking at these comments and it's like, how stupid can American people be? Okay, and how is this a victory for you, man? But these are just Edomites that celebrating violence, man. Okay, these are nothing but Edomites that celebrating, violence, man. Okay, so I think they got this devil getting ready to come on soon. Yeah, I got it queued up. Yeah, so they got the podium ready for this devil. He's getting ready to come out in a minute. But uh, but yeah, man, the Lord is establishing, all right, a real, conglomerate, powerhouse of nation that's going to come against America, man. Okay, and right now America's just throwing its weight around. Let's get this in Jeremiah 49. Okay, because it's a declining empire. Okay, so you're going to see a lot of desperation. You're going to see a lot of, you know, force, being used, because it's a declining empire. Okay, it's Jeremiah 49:14. It says, I have heard a rumor from the Lord, an ambassador is sent unto the heathen, saying, gather ye together and come against her and rise up to the battle. Okay, so everything America is doing is pushing these nations to gather together to come against her and rise up to the battle. Okay, he said, for I will make thee small among the heathen and despised among men. Okay, and the American empire is becoming insignificant, man. This is why they have to do these. This is a game, this is a chess move. Okay, but they're going to parade this around as a great victory. All right, but this has nothing to do with prophecy, man, as far as how, it changes the landscape of how the Third World War gonna go. It has nothing to do with that. It doesn't change the battlefield outcome at all. All right, nothing can change the battlefield outcome. All right, because it's prophecy, man. It's the will of the Lord. You know, but overall, America, is becoming weak. Okay, on a global scale. Okay, these nations are being more bold. Okay, they've learned the American military machine. Okay, and like I say, man, just all these different chats. You proud Americans, and it just shows why the Lord, all right, is going to judge. Okay, the whole landmass of America. Says it's going to disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon. Okay, I get that, but I'm watching. Nigga ain't came to the podium yet. Okay. Oh boy. All right. It says, verse 16. It said, "Thy terribleness have deceived thee, and the pride of thine heart. O thou dwellest in the clefts of the rock, that holdest the height of the hills. Thou that shouldest, it said, though thou shouldest makest thou, yet shouldest makest thy nest as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from thence, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Al Shah." Okay, so his terribleness has him deceived, you know, because that's high performance military. You can't take that from them to be able to go into another country and extrapolate their president, to get through, their forces and security and extrapolate another president. That is, high performance military. That ain't no light thing to do, you know, and things like that have this devil proud. He's deceived and thinking that he's just gonna continue to throw his weight around and have his way. But the Lord wants this man proud. He wants this man bold so he can fall right into that trap. Because that trap gonna be over there in Iran. You see? That's where the trap is. All right. And these small hats, they're seeing America do this, and they was telling what Netanyahu getting ready to do. Okay, because these devils love to one up one another. Okay, so there's no telling what this nigga gonna do. You see? So let's read on. It says, "Also Edom shall be a desolation. Everyone that goeth by it shall be astonished, and shall hiss at all the plagues thereof, man." Okay, because this is the destruction that's coming. Okay, the Lord finna, erase America and its population off the map. You see, and this makes me, just looking at these comments of these people, okay, and how proud they are. All right, and all they're doing is just celebrating violence. And this is nothing significant. Okay, bills still gonna be high, groceries still gonna be high. All right, AI still getting ready to replace you niggas. All right, so you're just celebrating violence, man. Okay, but this is the nature of an Edomite. Okay, they're just celebrating violence, man. All right, and all you red-blooded American Edomites, okay, you can get ready, man. Okay, because it's gonna be a rough ride for you in America, man. Because y'all just used to, you know, blowing, you know, just airstriking these other countries and no retaliation. The Americans, see, you Americans are so, quick to celebrate American military violence because you never had to deal with the retaliation behind it. Okay, you never had to deal with the retaliation. Okay, of your country. Okay, going to war because your country is always in someone else's land going to war, and your life goes on as usual. You see, so you never had to deal. You Americans have never had to deal, especially this generation, of the repercussions of war. Okay, you just get to continue on watching your sports and you know living your lives and doing your thing and you know your convenience. Okay, your day to day is not hindered by war. Okay, but it's going to happen in a major way. It's going to happen in a major way. The Most High is the ultimate judge, and that's why He's going to allow all these missiles to just hit America in one goddamn time. Man. Okay, with you people just in it, just like in the days of Noah, as the scripture said. You know. So let's go here. It says, also Edom shall be a desolation, everyone that goeth by it shall be astonished, shall hiss at all the plays thereof. Yeah, so just as you get to laugh and joke and play and, make the jokes about the, this president and this leader and, Bin Laden and those, Saddam and, now Maduro, and, you get to make these jokes and, you see, with the hell with all of them niggas. Okay, but from the viewpoint, all right, of you been able to make mockery, okay, while your military has been going, all right, and just been a bully and just being terrorizing the earth, okay? But now you're about to be made a mockery at the end when all these missiles hit America at the same time, okay? It says, as in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbor cities thereof, saith the Lord, no man shall abide there, all right, neither shall the Son of Man dwell in it, man, you know? And the Lord's getting ready to melt this wicked empire, man. Okay, and we're just seeing the build up to that. Okay, what we're seeing now is a build up to the Lord doing it. You see, so everything that's happening, all right, it's a string of events. Okay, that's gonna lead into that, man. Okay, so still waiting on the dough. Let's go from here. Wow, oh yeah, this is read on down in Jeremiah 50. You know, this is Jeremiah 50 and 29. It says, call together the archers against Babylon. Okay. And because what this does is trigger these other nations, to prepare, for America aggression. You know, this triggers these other nations, to prepare, all right, for American aggression militarily, man. All right. So you best believe while all these events are happening, these nations are constantly, putting themselves in a position to fulfill prophecy, okay, and wipe this place out. It said, call together the archers against ancient Babylon, all ye that bend the bow against it round about, let none thereof escape. Recompense her according to her work, according to all that she have done, do unto her, for she hath been proud, okay, against the Lord Yahweh Bashem Al Shai, against the Holy One of Israel, man. You know, and this is America is the representation of rebellion in the planet Earth, man. All right, and you people should lead the American empire. You see, the Lord is going to destroy America and all you cheerleaders, man. Okay, all you American cheerleaders, man, because this is an empire that represents complete, okay, anti-Messiah, man. Okay, and these people are ecstatic, man. This is everything. Let me just let y'all look at this real quick, just at the comments. We're gonna come back because I said he ain't came up there yet. They just showing the podium. All right. Well, just look at the comments. These people are going crazy, man. You know, and it's just American flags laughing. You know, who's Madero? Okay, you see, they just you know, they're just celebrating violence, man. They're celebrating the same, and that's why I don't feel sorry for you Edomites that's living in RVs and you Americans, period, man. You're being fired, you're losing everything, you're catching hell, man. That's why we shouldn't feel sorry for these people, man. Okay, because these are the same people that be on TikTok next month. Okay, complaining about, you know, life ain't the same no more. Okay. And then you see these same people, okay, they celebrate the violence of the American government, man. Okay, and that's why violence is coming too. So much violence is coming to America, man. Okay. So yeah, just want to show y'all that real quick. We'll get back to it. Nigga ain't came out yet, you know. So let's go. Let me see. Oh, it's not showing so like I thought I had shared. But yeah, just look at them comments, you know, just the pride of these devils, man. It's just these devils celebrating, talking shit. You know, these Joe Sixpack eater. Okay, I say Trump and King Trump's a badass. You see the small hat flags on there. Okay, Trump is my hero. Okay, so this is all it take is an act of violence. Okay, and you Americans are back on Team Trump. Okay, all they complaining is that best president ever, Trump. You know, and just look at them. They and the chat is just on hyperdrive. Okay, this is everything to these devils, man. Okay, the violence of their government. So don't feel sorry for these goddamn Edomites on TikTok complaining. Any of you Americans, you know, you niggas too, man. All right, don't feel no sympathy for these people. All right, as their country is collapsing, man. All right, and their government is doing any and everything to them, man. Okay, but this is what they're about. You see, so, but yeah, Trump ain't nigga ain't came out yet. So let's go back to some precepts. I'll be watching back and forth. You know, this nigga late. Just attacking, just a whole attacking rulership, man. All right. It says, call together the archers. This is back in Jeremiah 15:29. It said, call together the archers against Babylon. All ye that bend the bow, camp against it round about. Let none thereof escape. Recompense her according to her work. Okay. So all the wickedness that America has pushed out through the earth is gonna come back. Okay. All the wickedness from American government, its military, its economy, you know, the way that it just, you know, terrorized the earth, man. You know, just keeping nations impoverished and war torn. All this got to come back. There's a recompense for that. Okay. And you people have no idea. Okay. I'll say to you, this is some type of victory, but you people have no idea. Okay. The type of recompense. All right. That's getting ready to come. Okay. So, let's go back. Let's read down. And it says, verse 30 said, therefore shall a young man fall in the streets, and all her men of war shall be cut off in the day, said the Lord Yahweh Bashem Al Shai. And said, you American troops that's abroad, okay, they're stationed in all these different places, man. When this third world war starts, man, America's gonna lose, okay, abroad and at home. Okay. America's gonna lose abroad and at home. Okay, it's gonna be bad for the American empire, man. You know, it's crumbling, you see, but the Lord is gonna take this thing to another notch, man. And He's gonna remove all this pride from your American people, man. You know, You're gonna move this pride from your American people. You see, and you're gonna go through extreme poverty. All right, starvation, civil unrest. Okay, that's coming. All that's coming to America, man, because America has made that the reality in so many countries throughout the earth, man. The American government, all right, with its economic, all right, and military force. It said, therefore shall a young man fall in the streets, and all her men of war shall be cut off. In that day said the Lord, behold, I am against thee, O thou most proud, said the Lord power of hosts, for thy day is come, the time that I will visit thee. Okay, the time that I will visit thee, man. So this place is gonna be visited. You see, this is what these people don't understand, and what all these moves are leading to. Okay, they have no idea that this is not good news for them. Okay, this is just another step closer to their war that's gonna turn this place to a desert, man. Okay, this what this represents. All the moves that's being made, okay, is to fulfill the will of Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. All right, that's why as we get this Zephaniah chapter 3 and verse 8, and this is what the Lord is doing. It said, therefore, wait ye upon me, says the Lord. And see, and this is the speaking to the elect, because we'll watch these things, we'll just wait on our power. You see, we know not to get militant and get all caught up, okay, trying to be carnal. Nah, man, we wait on our power and we seeing our power make moves. This is all the Lord's doing, man. Okay, and these people are in the dark. They have no idea, okay, of what this is going to lead to. All right, they don't see the Lord gathering the nations for this last and this final world's war. Okay, this is what these people don't see. All right, and the Lord wants them like that. Okay, that's why the scripture say Yahweh Shai was going to be a thief in the night. It said, therefore, wait ye upon me, said the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations that I may assemble the kingdoms to pour upon them my indignation, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured by the fire of my jealousy. Okay? All the earth is going to be devoured by the fire of the Lord jealousy, man. That's going to be the missiles and that's going to be the chariots. Okay? And the earth, which is going back, the piece of earth that's going to be devoured is going to be America. Because the whole earth ain't going to be devoured. Okay? But a piece of the earth, the American land mass, is going to be devoured. Okay? From the nukes and the chariots. You see? It's going to be, some damage in other places, world war. Okay? But the emphasis is going to be on America. All right? Because how America has influence, okay, the earth, okay, and wickedness, man. Okay? So let's go back from there. Let's go here. Yeah, see, brother got a couple. Let's get this out the comment board. Yeah, say I'm just checking, seeing about this guy. You know. So let's go on. Let's see, the brother got this, and this the book of Second Ezra 16 and 14 said, behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. Okay, so prophecy is in motion. Okay, there's not going to be no event that's going to reverse. Okay, the prophecies, man. All right, it's going to put the prophecies in reverse. Okay? So no matter what event this devil do, the devil can take down all the governments. Okay? They can do a coup on all the governments. The will of the Lord still is going to play out. Okay? So no matter what event that this devil does, it doesn't reverse prophecy, man. Okay? It doesn't disannul what's written to happen. The counsel of the Lord, his pleasure. You see? So it don't matter what these devils do. You see? It's all going to play out according to the will of the Lord. And that's why, we filter everything through prophecy. Okay? This second Ezra 16 and 15 said, the fire is kindled and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth, man. And that's here in America, man. Okay? Till it consume the foundation of the earth. Okay? Until America is a desert. Okay? So, yeah, expect to see a lot of these devil, because Trump is just gonna get up here and boast. When this nigga make it to the podium, he's just gonna get up there. Okay, he's gonna boast. You see? And the scripture described this, man. Let's go here. I said the brother got it. Psalms 10 and 3 said, for the wicked boasted of his heart's desire, and blessed the covetous, whom the Lord abhorred. Okay? Whom the Lord abhorred, whom the Lord avoided, man. So this is a system where this man boasts, okay, in being anti-Messiah. He boasts in his rebellion against Yahweh Shem Shai, mainly through science. Okay, and they have a system to where only, the wicked are blessed, man. Okay? And you people, man, you look at you Americans, man, it just because America been desperate for something to root for. You Americans, you're desperate for something to root for. So this is everything to these Americans, man. It's some type of victory. All right, because they've been living through, all right, the decline of empire, and it's still on decline. And this ain't gonna reverse the decline of America, man. You will think of how these people, are just going crazy on the uh the uh the comment board. You would think that Trump just did something to reverse the decline of America. Okay, he's still finna garnish. Okay, your checks from student loan. Okay, he's still finna tank the dollar. Okay, he's still, all right, starting all these wars that's gonna get this place nuked. Okay, so there's nothing that has been done that's reversing the decline of America. So you will look at like, okay, what's the big deal? Well, see, you American people are desperate, for some type of victory somewhat. Okay, because it's not happening in your day to day. So this is a victory to you. Okay, that your government took down, all right, another government. Okay, so let's go from there. Uh, this is Revelation 19 and 2. It says, for true and righteous are his judgments, for he have judged the great whore, which did corrupt the earth with her fornication. All right, and have avenged the blood of his servants in her hand. Okay, so America, is charged, all right, with being this great corrupter in the earth, because you go into, all right, just the filthy culture of America that has been the influence in the earth. Okay, when you look at any nation that's, got alphabet community, drill rap, and, even Christianity, all this is anti Messiah. And it comes from America, man. democracy and feminism, and all these things come from, you know, pushed out through the earth in America, because Christianity, the modern version started in, Italy, okay, but it's still a Western concept, this modern Christianity, okay, and America was a major platform to push that throughout the earth, okay, but when you go into, all the wickedness, all right, all the wicked cultures of the earth, when America was the birthplace, okay, they normalized wickedness, man. And that's why there's such a heavy judgment for it, okay? Because this is the place where wickedness was normalized, man. Most of the time, wickedness was looked down upon. Certain things were shameful, you know? Certain things was unacceptable in certain cultures, man. Okay? But under the banner of America, you see, these things are becoming the norm everywhere, okay? And this is why the Lord is going to deal with the source of the problem. How shy he's going to deal with the source of the problem, okay, at his return. You see? So, let's go. Let's go here to Revelation 17. Yeah, that nigga ain't came out yet. That nigga feeling himself, boy. You know I'm gonna make these niggas wait. Yeah, that nigga gonna talk some shit. But let's go here to Revelation 17. All right. And I'll start at 1. It says this Revelation 17 and 1, it says, and there came one of the seven angels which had seven vials and talked with me, saying, come unto me. All right. Saying unto me, come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. Okay? And this great whore is America, man. You see, and the Bible is full of the judgment that's coming to the great whore. Okay? And you people have absolutely no idea. Okay? You see, people don't even understand that they're living in the great whore, okay, which is America. Okay? People have no idea that the judgment of America is pronounced in the scriptures. Okay? Most people, their concept is foreign. Okay? So, like I say, what just happened is a major victory for them psychologically, man. Okay? But it does nothing to alter any actual battlefield outcomes. All right? Which is the outcome that the Lord wants. Okay? So, reading on again, it says, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine, all right, of her fornication. Okay? So America has been able to influence these nations in rebellion. And you look at this when you see this technocracy, okay? This is an Edomite concept, okay? A system of technology to replace the Most High. That's a philosophy linked to that. And this man has made the nation drunk with it. Okay, because these nations, they're on board with this new world order. Now, eventually, they're going to, all right, get to a point to where they're going to fight the whore. Okay, because they agree to an extent. You see, and as America is keep, playing bully in the earth. Okay, they're just going to push forward. All right, the prophecy, okay, of turning America to a desert. These nations launching nukes on America, man. Okay. So let's go here, Revelation 17, and I read 2 again. It said, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk. All right, that's the normal people. All right, just drunk off the wine. All right, of Babylon. You know, the culture. You see, the belief systems. Okay, the political system, the economic system. People are just drunk off of it. The convenience. You see, everything that's within. Okay, this man's philosophy. People are drunken with it. Okay, and these people that are crying, they just want that. They just want America back, man. You know, they want their country back. You see, this is what they want. Okay, but these people, you inhabitants, are drunken. Even though this country, it's like a toxic relationship. No matter how much the American government abuses its citizens, man, these people have fallen in love with this culture, man. Okay, just do as thou wilt. Okay, just a culture to where you just indulge in pleasure. You see, technology makes it to where you can neglect, a lot of responsibility. Okay, and you can just tap into pleasure. You see, and people love that, man. This is what people are crying about. They want their old thing back. You see, when they all in the camera, trying to explain their situation, they want that old thing back, man. Okay, because they were drunk off of it. You see, it says, 3 verse 3 says, so he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Okay, and these 7 heads going to these Edomite governments. These Edomite governments that were superpowers in the earth. You had the French, the Spanish, right, the Greeks, the Romans, Germania Major, Germania Minor. Okay, so you had these uh 7 heads, these different governments. Okay, the British. You see, you got these 7 Edomite governments that you know were a superpower on the earth at the time. All right, and the Romans was one of those heads that was wounded, was revived. Okay, as America, NATO, and EU, man. Okay, so this is a revival. All right, this is the wounded head of the Romans that's in power now, and these 10 horns represent these vassals. Okay, of the modern, all right, America, NATO, and EU. Okay, military and economic, you know, alliance, man. Okay, it says, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of the abominations of the filthiness of her fornication. Okay, hold on, hold on. I think the devil was speaking. Salaki. Yeah, so I think the devil is on now.
The attack on al-Baghdadi and the obliteration and decimation of the Iran nuclear sites just recently in an operation known as Midnight Hammer, all perfectly executed and done. No nation in the world could achieve just a short period of time.
All Venezuelan military capacities were rendered powerless as the men and women of our military, working with U.S. law enforcement, successfully captured Maduro in the dead of night. It was dark. The lights of Caracas were largely turned off due to a certain expertise that we have. It was dark and it was deadly. But captured along with his wife, Celia Flores, injustice. Maduro and Flores have been indicted in the Southern District of New York, Jay Clayton, for their campaign of deadly narco terrorism against the United States and its citizens. I want to thank the men and women of our military who achieved such an extraordinary success overnight with breathtaking speed, power, precision, and competence. You rarely see anything like it. You've seen some raids in this country that didn't go so well. They were an embarrassment. If you look back to Afghanistan, or if you look back to the Jimmy Carter days, they were different days. We're a respected country again, maybe like never before. These highly trained warriors operating in collaboration with U.S. law enforcement caught them in a very ready position. They were waiting for us. They knew we had many ships out in the sea, just sort of waiting. They knew we were coming. So they were in a ready, what's called a ready position. But they were completely overwhelmed and very quickly incapacitated. If you would have seen what I saw last night, you would have been very impressed. I'm not sure that you'll ever get to see it, but it was an incredible thing to see. Not a single American service member was killed, and not a single piece of American equipment was lost. We had many helicopters, many planes, many people involved in that fight. But think of that, not one piece of military equipment was lost, not one service member was, more importantly, killed. The United States military is the strongest and most fearsome military on the planet by far, with capabilities and skills our enemies can scarcely begin to imagine. We have the best equipment anywhere in the world. There's no equipment like what we have. And you see that even if you just look at the boats. You know, we've knocked out 97% of the drugs coming in by sea. 90%. Each boat kills 25, on average, 25,000 people. We knocked out 97%. And those drugs mostly come from a place called Venezuela. We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. So we don't want to be involved with having somebody else get in, and we have the same situation that we had for the last long period of years. So we are going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. And it has to be judicious, because that's what we're all about. We want peace, liberty, and justice for the great people of Venezuela. And that includes many from Venezuela that are now living in the United States and want to go back to their country. It's their homeland. We can't take a chance that somebody else takes over Venezuela that doesn't have the good of the Venezuelan people in mind. Had decades of that. We're not going to let that happen. We're there now, and what people don't understand, but they understand as I say this, we're there now, but we're going to stay until such time as the proper transition can take place. So we're going to stay until such time as has been a bust, a total bust for a long period of time. They were pumping almost nothing by comparison to what they could have been pumping and what could have taken place. We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country. And we are ready to stage a second and much larger attack if we need to do so. So we were prepared to do a second wave if we needed to do so. We actually assumed that a second wave would be necessary, but now it's probably not. The first wave, if you'd like to call it that, the first attack was so successful, we probably don't have to do a second, but we're prepared to do a second wave, a much bigger wave, actually. This was pinpoint, but we have a much bigger wave that probably won't have to do. This partnership of Venezuela with the United States of America, a country that everybody wants to be involved with because of what we were able to do and accomplish, will make the people of Venezuela rich, independent, and safe. And it will also living in the United States extremely happy. They suffered. They suffered. So much was taken from them. They're not going to suffer anymore. The illegitimate dictator Maduro was the kingpin of a vast criminal network responsible for trafficking colossal amounts of deadly and illicit drugs into the United States. As alleged in the indictment, he personally oversaw the vicious cartel known as Cartel de las Solas, which flooded our nation with lethal poison, responsible for the deaths of countless Americans, many, many Americans, hundreds of thousands over the years of Americans died because of him. Maduro and his wife will soon face the full might of American justice and stand trial on American soil. Right now, they're on a ship. They'll be heading to ultimately New York, and then a decision will be made, I assume, between New York and Miami or Florida. But we have people where the overwhelming evidence of their crimes will be presented in a court of law. And I've seen it. I've seen what we have. It's both horrible and shocking that something like this could have been allowed to take place. For many years after his term as president of Venezuela expired, Maduro remained in power and waged a ceaseless campaign of violence, terror, and subversion against the United States of America, threatening not only our people, but the stability of the entire region. And you all saw it. In addition to trafficking gigantic amounts of illegal drugs that inflicted untold suffering and human destruction all over the country, all over, in particular, the United States. Maduro sent 7 murderers, including the president trend. They were in Colorado. They took over apartment complexes. They cut the fingers off people if they call police. They were brutal. But they're not so brutal now. And I just have to congratulate our military, Pete, and everybody, National Guard, because the job that they've done, whether it's in Washington, D.C., where we have a totally safe city, where it's one of the a little bit of a different kind of a threat, but we haven't had a killing in our capital. We don't have that anymore. The restaurants are opening. Everyone's happy. They're walking their doors. They're walking there. So we're doing it in Memphis, Tennessee right now, and crime is down. Just sort of started a few weeks ago, but crime is down now 77%. And the governor of Louisiana called, great person, and he wanted us to help him, as you know, in a certain very nice part of Louisiana, and we have done that. It was a rough section, and we have crime down. I understand it's down to almost nothing already after 2.5 weeks. New Orleans, it's down to almost nothing, and we've only been there for 2.5 weeks. Can't imagine why governors wouldn't want us to help. We also helped, as you know, in Chicago, and crime went down a little bit there. We did a very small.
So he hinting at Jacob Trouble, sending troops to different cities. Okay, this double is all out with this plan, man. And
Los Angeles, where we saved Los Angeles early on, where the head of the police department made a statement that if the federal government didn't come in, we would have lost Los Angeles. That's long after the fires. That's when they had the riots in Los Angeles. We did a great job. Got no credit for it whatsoever, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. We don't need the credit. But the place that we're very proud of is Washington, D.C., because it's our nation's capital. We took it from being a crime-ridden mess to being one of the safest cities in the country. But the gangs that they sent raped, tortured, and murdered American women and children. They were in all of the cities I mentioned, Tren de Aragua. And they were sent by Maduro to terrorize our people. And now Maduro will never again be able to threaten American any as well, and terrorist organization. Really one. Kidnapped, assaulted, and murdered by Tren de Aragua. Animals, they murdered Jocelyn and left. They sound similar, actually. Prisons, a little bit more hostile, a little bit tougher. A mental institution isn't as tough as an insane asylum, but we got them both. They sent from their mental institutions, they sent from their jails, prisons. They were drug dealers, they were drug kingpins. They sent everybody bad into the United States, but no longer. And we have now a border where nobody gets through. In addition, Venezuela unilaterally seized and sold American oil, American assets, and American platforms of our property. Do anything about it. Instead, they fought wars that were 10,000 miles away. We built Venezuela oil industry with American talent, drive, and skill, and the socialist regime stole it from us during those previous administrations, and they stole it through force. This constituted one of the largest thefts of American property in the history of our country. Considered the largest theft of property in the history of our country. Massive. I would have done something about it. America will
yeah,
never allow
so
foreign power.
the main thing is being clarified that Madero has been, captured. He's been extrapolated. All right, and this nigga just lying. Like this, it's enough lying for this morning. So, um, Look at a couple precepts, and you simple American, you're gonna believe every goddamn thing. You're gonna believe that this man has just made your country safer, that he's gonna stop the drugs. Like you can't go and get all right the same drugs, all right, that you got today, yesterday. Like you can't go get the same drugs today that you got yesterday. That people can't go like this just cut off people access to drugs. Okay, and Maduro was responsible for the crime in America, and then he was hitting that what he was doing with ICE, in these cities. So he let you niggas know too. All right, they ain't finished with that. Okay, well it's just mixed with a bunch of lies, man. Like this, like when it's hard to watch these niggas, man. Niggas just lying. It's so easy. He just lies so much, you know. But yeah, let's get this. And I just wanted to see what he was talking about this morning, something we can watch together. But yeah, niggas just lying. They got Maduro, so it's gonna be interesting to see how it play out from here. So this Proverbs 14 and 15 said, "The simple believe it every word, but the prudent man looketh well to his going." Okay, because the spirit of the Lord, has us prudent. Okay, we in the spirit of prophecy, and we filter everything through prophecy, man. You know, so and we know the nature of this devil. He's a liar. Okay, so according to prophecy, man, we're right on schedule. The devil, is proud. Which he should be, which is gonna make him reckless. He's gonna fall into their snare, and that's gonna be the end of this guy, man. Okay, so yeah, the point was made. Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you sisters edified once again. We give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Kakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS. All right, who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers, and peace and blessings, salutation, and hope for Lake Shalom.